Your first 3 feet of movement are incredibly important in the golf swing. This is what we call the takeaway. And most of you really screw this position up and have a hard time fixing it because you're thinking about this stuff all the wrong way. Most of you are watching your hands and your arms in the golf club rather than looking at what should be moving the golf club as your primary engine. When you look at the golf swing, your body is a big system. It's a system that has to move in a very specific order for you to be able to produce power and speed. What we want to look at when a good takeaway position is achieved is how much you've loaded into your trail leg, how much your hips have rotated, how much your body has turned. Yes, the hands and the arms and where the golf club is in space is very important to us golf instructors because it can kind of dictate where you're going to be moving to further on in the golf swing. It can also give us a understanding as to where you're moving from. But where my eyes are always fixated, whether it's face on or down the line, is I'm looking at your hips, your legs, and your torso. That's the most important thing to me. Now, if you understand what the actual inputs are in a good takeaway, then this stuff becomes a whole lot easier to be able to manage. All the hands and the arms are doing in a takeaway is just very subtle amounts of elevation, very subtle amounts of wrist and forearm rotation, and very subtle amounts of wrist set. All 3 of these things are considered very passive. What your legs and your hips are doing is you're going from right around a 50-50 weight distribution at address. You're going 60 to 70% of your weight underneath your trail leg. Your hips are rotating somewhere between 10 and 15 degrees, and your shoulders are rotating right around 45 degrees. If you do those things right, then the rest of the takeaway becomes easier to manage. What we're gonna do here today is we're gonna take the technical thinking away from the hands and the arms. We're gonna think about what we're feeling through the body, and we're gonna give you one little subtle thing that you can do with an alignment stick that's gonna make this whole process a lot easier. In fact, I'm gonna make you a deal. If you follow this process for the next 2 to 4 weeks, and you put in an honest amount of reps, and you still see faults that are popping up in your takeaway, whether it's the hands getting way to the inside or the club face being shut or whatever it is, if you follow this and you're honest with yourself, then I will start making fault fix videos specific to the takeaway where we address those certain things. But remember, the takeaway is much easier to manage if you're moving in the right order. Now, how I like to do this is instead of taking all of the speed out of your golf swing and focusing on moving really, really slow and out of cadence, trying to get these positions to be perfect and making sure the club is not shut, is I like for you to understand what your real backswing cadence is all about. My backswing cadence is 76 beats per minute. That's a fast cadence. I had somebody in last week that was hovering around 69 beats to 70 beats per minute. And the way that we figured this out is I flip on the metronome. You can get a metronome app on any of these phones these days. So I have you do a bunch of not takeaway reps, but backswing reps. You start on 1 tick. So that right there is my backswing cadence. Now, how we're gonna use this is we're gonna keep this metronome going for the entire practice session. Yes, it might drive some of you a little bit on the crazy side, but use this cadence when you're trying to fix something early on in the swing. If you try to slow down, you're slowing down from your hands and your arms. You're creating tension and you're not living up to what you would be doing on the golf course anyways. And you can see the real reason why you're probably not seeing this stuff show up on the golf course, which is the billion-dollar question when it comes to the game of golf, is how do I get my swing changes to the golf course? Practice properly. So you're gonna go ahead and get your cadence, whatever it might be, figure it out, adjust it, play around with it. You want it to be moving up and down from the golf ball up to the top of the swing in a perfect beat that you know is exactly the way that you swing on the golf course. Have somebody help you out, somebody that you play golf with, somebody that's seen your golf swing and knows that that's exactly the swing speed that you work at. Once you get that dialed in, follow this plan and it becomes a whole lot easier. I want you to go ahead and take your setup. Okay, you're not gonna do this with a club at first. You're gonna cross your arms over your shoulders. You're gonna pressure shift by pushing down into your trail ankle, and you're just gonna turn your chest to the beat. So you're gonna try to turn at least 45. You'll probably turn quite a bit more than that just by doing this. So you're pressure shifting and turning. Get that into your brain. Pick the golf club back up, but grab it and flip it over, okay? We're gonna do this 5, 10, 15 reps or so with the golf club upside down. Now watch. Now, I have not thought about any takeaway position. I've not thought about where my hands and arms are. I've kept my hands and arms relaxed. Now, let me simplify the little things that are going to go on with your hands and your arms as you start to work on this. When you flip the club back over, you can take an alignment stick and you can stick it off of your trail foot straight back off of your toes. So it's going to be on your toe line. And from your visual, or from the visual process that you're going to create here, you're still going to be working to your cadence. All I want you to think about is keeping your hands and the golf club out in front of this line all the way to the top of the swing. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's crazy. That's going to produce this really upright swing. From your perspective, you're just trying to see that the hands and the golf club stay in front of this line as long as you possibly can, all the way to the top of the swing. Yes, I do know that there's going to be a lot more depth in the swing, but we're trying to take the technical thinking out of this stuff. Keep the hands and the arms passive. Work at your cadence. Stop trying to stop in a takeaway position to try to make that stuff right. Work to a backswing and start moving through these positions. You'll find that's a whole lot easier. So rest this club on your trail thigh. Work at your cadence. Pressure shift, turn. Pressure shift, turn. Pick the club back up. Okay, now flip the club over. Now I'm going to visualize my hands and the golf club staying out in front of this line. And I'm just going to make my backswing to that same cadence. Okay, for every couple reps that you do, I want you to swing through. Okay, if you feel good about it, you feel connected to the movement, move a golf ball in there. Remember, you're using this as your visual to keep your hands and your golf club out in front of. So follow that practice program. Each and every single set that you do is considered one rep. When you get practice swings and you get golf ball swings that look like the takeaway that you've been looking for, continue to burn it into your brain. If you don't see a vast difference from your address position through those first 3 feet of movement, then post in the comments below what you're running into and let me start to produce some fault fix videos that are going to help you fix some of the little minor inputs that need to happen in the golf swing, because there are certainly many faults that can take place in the takeaway, but most of these can be fixed with a proper plan in place. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's get out there. Let's play some great golf.